Hey, it's Captain Man Mark here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you through the different hairstyles worn by Zack Morris. I hope you guys don't mind, I got a fan going, it's pretty warm in here. But anyway, Zack Morris of course is from the hit show Saved by the Bell, and he's pretty well known for his hair, his slicked back, blonde hair. Now before Zack Morris was in Saved by the Bell, he was in the TV show Good Morning Miss Bliss. It's the same continuity, same universe, although the school location is in a completely different spot. Sometimes this show is known as Saved by the Bell, the junior high years. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the hairstyle going on in the early years here. So from the beginning, we can see that his hair is shorter all around. It's pretty cleaned up on the back and sides, and then it's longer on the top. It looks like he has a bit of a part going on towards the right. His hair has volume, so his hair is actually like pulled up. It looks like this is intentional. Now take notice on the sides here, just how jagged it looks. To create this look, you gotta have heavy layering, and it's tapered down on the back and sides. Right into the corners of the hair, you can see how jagged it is, and then at the very front, this is where the longest point is. Here's another great photo of the top of his head. You can see how jagged it is. Once again, this is due to heavy layering. And I think it's cut in a way where it's kind of gradual, where once it gets to the front, the jaggedness kind of gets longer and longer till it gets to the longest point. Because of the way his hair is cut, it makes it so that it easily stands up. This is a picture of probably how long his hair got in that first season. It only had 13 episodes. If you pulled the fringe straight down, it might even get close to the eyes, but it did look like he maintained getting a haircut and he cut it back to a shorter length. Okay, let's get into the first season of Saved by the Bell. This came out in 1989, so we can see the fashion unfold a little bit here. Now this is a good picture of the side profile of his face. We can see how the top and the back are very blended, and it keeps the shape. So it's very layered, and then from the back to the top, it's very blended. Once again, it has that very jagged look, and then at the very front, this is at its longest point. It's pulled up, it has a lift, and I very much think that this was kind of the intent of the haircut, that he was looking to have a hairstyle with a lift. In the first season, he maintained this hairstyle for a little while. Here's another photo. Take notice of like the jaggedness of his hair. And then it keeps the shape at the back. Again, he maintains this for a good while. You can see actually his hair starts to grow, and then his hair at the back starting to grow. But what's kind of interesting about this season is he actually grows his hair quite a bit. He grows his hair especially on the top and sides. Something that is kind of amusing is his dedication to keep that, standing, voluminous hairstyle. His hair gets pretty long while still trying to keep that look with a lift. And it's interesting because his hair ends up falling into interesting swirls. And it does look like he uses a hair product. His hair almost looks like a greaser look, actually. Maybe more like a modernized version, but it kind of does have a little bit of that greaser look. His hair ends up being pretty lengthy at the top and sides. Probably if you pulled it straight down, it'd probably go quite a bit past his eyes and stuff. Now, with as much of his hair growing on the top and sides, his hair would definitely be quite longer at the back too, but he seemed to maintain cutting it at the back to keep it shorter. Now something else that we see is we actually see a change in shape towards the back. Unfortunately, I apologize that many of these photos are not HD. A lot of my references were not HD, but we can see actually a change in the shape of the back of the hair, where before it maintained shape up into the top, but now there's definitely a sense of bulk at a certain point of the hair. So here's a picture of the back of his head. So we can see it almost looks like an undercut. where you can kind of see a bulk of hair creating almost this angled shape going towards the back, and a little past the mid part of his hair is where it ends. And this is a look that he maintains towards the ending of the first season. It's interesting because it has almost like the intent is to have this like peeled back look, and then this more tapered look going down towards the back of the hair. So I think this photo is from one of the last episodes from season 1, and you can kind of see that bulk part has grown out, I think. It kind of looks like it's reached to the point where it's getting close to surpassing, I guess, the more tapered part of it. So this is cheating a little bit, because I wanted to maintain my photo references within like the show, but I have some photos here. This might be between season 1 and season 2, but regardless, this is around, I guess, season 1. And these are photos of the cast signing autographs. And you can actually see that his hair grows to be quite long. And you can kind of see the angled part here, how much it's grown. And you can see like the hair underneath, which is kind of interesting. Now take a look at this one. So obviously Zack's actor is not in the foreground, so he's a little bit woozy. But if you take notice, I mean, look at that. I mean, that kind of looks like an undercut. But you still see it being framed by that bulk of hair that typically is like combed back, but his hair here is just falling forward. It's interesting that even to that point, when his hair grew that long, he maintained keeping it that short. Alright, let's move on to season 2. Now season 2, his hair doesn't really change that much, not like season 1. Now, he has a similar theme going on with the combed back hair. His hair at the top and sides, once again, are kept pretty long. By the looks of it, I reckon if he combed it down, probably the top and the sides are similar length. A theme that he keeps up with is, although his hair's combed back, there is a little bit of direction towards the right side. That seems to be the side he prefers. So it's like the bulk of his hair has a slight direction towards the right side. His right, our left. It looks like the part is a little bit of a side part. Now the proportions at the back, the way that it's cut, it's tapered down, going towards the back. But it maintains shape. So it's not like you see this big difference where it's really long and then goes into really short. Actually, there is some length at the back throughout this season, but it's cut in a way where it's very balanced and it maintains the shape. At times, even from the front view, you can actually see his hair poking out at the back because it has a little bit of that length to it. Season 2's hair is pretty balanced and probably the most timeless his hair will look, I think. The reason why I say that is I think you could put this hairstyle in any generation and it won't really stick out like a sore thumb. He still keeps that combed back with maintaining a bit of a lift in his hair. That's still consistent. Alright, let's make our way to season 3. At the beginning of season 3, Zack's hair is pretty much the same. Tapered towards the back, it's long on the top and sides. And the way that it's cut, it maintains shape towards the back. Still that combed back look, but a little bit more towards his right side. But then we end up seeing a change, actually. He ends up getting what looks like an undercut. So if you actually look at this picture here, there's a distinct difference between the top and the back and sides. Before, all of that was combed back. There was length to it. But now the sides are just shaved down. This is a very 90s look, actually, the undercut. That's when it kind of became popular. But looking right into the side of his hair here, it doesn't look like there's this graduation, really. Like there's no fade or taper going into the top. It kind of just looks disconnected. So check these out. These are some promo shots for season 3, and you can clearly see the undercut. And his hair at the top is actually grown quite long. Here's an interesting photo of the back of his head, where the top of his hair isn't grown quite long as we've seen it, or we will see it. So the disconnect from the back to the top doesn't look that severe. Something I can say about season 3 is that although he has an undercut, his hair actually grows at the back and sides, and it looks like he uses product to actually keep it down. Because, you know, if your hair is growing out from an undercut, it might stick out a bit, just because it's so short. But it kind of looks like he would apply product to keep it slicked back. But it would appear that he reapplies the undercut look. But eventually, towards the end of this season, he ends up getting a noticeable haircut at the top, which I think actually reblends his hair, and it actually takes him back closer to a look that he had more in like the season 1 days, or even the Good Morning Miss Bliss days. So I don't think he touched the back and sides, but I think he touched the top, and towards the end of this season, and then we can see how, like, the way that it's tapered going down at the back, again, it maintains the shape instead of the look of a sense of bulk, or even this noticeable bulk going from longer to shorter. There isn't this noticeable bulk in the hair, but rather it actually tapers down and maintains shape. So something to point out, they filmed a TV movie called Saved by the Bell, Hawaiian Style. The gang goes to like Hawaii or whatever. This movie was released in late 92, and what Zack has as far as his haircut, it's similar to what we see towards the end of this past season. It might even be slightly shorter. I don't know when they like filmed all this stuff, but we can see here again the proportions with the very noticeable bulk on the top. We don't really have that here, and it maintains shape into the back. Although the top is at its longest point, it's still a lot shorter than what we typically see, and I can't really say this is an undercut at this point. It does look like there's a blend going into the back. Okay, so this is season 4 now. Now, at the beginning of season 4, immediately we can see he's gone back to the undercut look. Probably what happened was he just let his hair grow on the top. Probably because he likes the variation of having it long, and then to keep it like tight on the sides and back, he just has it shaved down, which would have been in fashion in the 90s. So it seems like in season 4, he actually keeps this undercut look, and actually towards the back, where the bulk of the hair is, you can see, it's kept quite long actually. The bulk part of the hair seems to go a little bit past the midpoint of the back of the head, but in season 4, it seems like Zack Morris keeps his hair, the undercut look, combed back, and similar thing where it's a little bit more towards the right side, a little bit of a side part. This particular photo is his hair kind of falling down. It's that side part still, but you know, his hair isn't as combed back, it's kind of falling down, and it kind of helps us see the proportions of the hair. Here's another picture of the back of his head where you can see the bulk part probably reaches the midpoint, and then other photos it looks like his hair actually reaches a little beyond the midpoint. Now, looking at these photos, I start to wonder what the proportions are like if his hair was all combed down. Unfortunately, he almost never had his hair combed that way. The combed back look was his look, so it's kind of hard to see. I have this one reference photo here where I think he's pretending to be sick, and you can see that his hair kind of falls forward or falls down, but yeah, his hair kind of falls flat, which isn't typically how he wears it, but we can kind of see that it almost looks like his hair goes from longer to shorter into the side, and then it dips at the back. So I actually think there might be like a bend in his hair, which I have seen before, as far as a similar hairstyle, especially in the 90s. I reckon that he has something that kind of looks like this. This is a drawing to demonstrate what I'm trying to communicate. But I think he might have a bend in his hair. In Season 4, it kind of looks like he maintains a certain amount of length on the top. His hair is usually pretty long on the top. In other seasons, we actually see where he gets noticeable haircuts, one point or another, but in this season, it doesn't really look like there's any really noticeable changes. Something about his hair is that he actually maintains getting his hair layered. A lot of the times, this type of look has no layers in it. But Zack Morris is somebody who had layers in his hair through and through. Especially in the 90s, having no layers was definitely a thing during that time. Okay, so we're getting into the college years now. This only lasted one season, but let's have a look here. So this is actually really interesting because we've never seen his hair this long before. His hair at the back probably touches collar length, maybe even slightly longer. His hair at the top is pretty long. If he combed it straight down, goes bottom of his nose. Now, his fringe has a bend going on. I do think he combed it in a way to achieve a look kind of like that. I don't think he's going for the combed back look so much anymore, but it still looks like it's combed back, at least on the sides and the back, maybe a little bit at the top, but he allows it to fall forward. Especially with the length that he has now, the hair would probably fall forward on its own quite a bit. Now, I'm uncertain if the undercut grown out would achieve this look. I don't think so. I feel like the top would be so much longer than the back. He probably had a haircut before his hair grew out to this length. But I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it within the show. So in the promo shots for this season of the show, his hair doesn't look like at the beginning of the show. And at first I had the theory that this was like these were taken way before the pilot episode or something, but I'm thinking now that maybe that's not the case, because if we actually look in the show, he ends up getting a haircut where he keeps the top, but the back and sides are tidied up. But something that I find really interesting about this look is that the back and the sides, it still has length, which I actually think is really interesting. So we can see that it's actually a tapered look, so it goes from longer to shorter into the back, but again, it's not like really, really short actually, but it changes the shape of the hair where there is a sense of bulk towards the top, but there's this interesting blend where it goes into being shorter towards the back. I would also say this is a very 90s look. What he had before, it looked pretty 90s, I guess, but I think with a tidied up back and sides, it creates more of what would be typically a 90s look. I mean, throughout the show, he's had like a hybrid of the Curtains haircut, even more so here. The top doesn't look touched during this time. His hair is actually quite long on the top. You can see the flow as it's kind of combed back. Again, it's not so much combed back. It falls forward a little bit, so it's not as uniformly combed back as it used to be. If his hair fell forward, it could even be like lip length, I think. We do end up seeing a bit of a change in the shape of his hair. And I think what happened is he actually got a bit of a trim. And this trim would actually be making his hair at the top shorter. And then there's a graduation from shorter to longer towards the back. His hair grows from what we had before. And it looks like he has a graduation at this time, where his hair is actually shorter to longer. Beforehand, definitely like the fringe, the very front of the hair was the focal point where it was quite long. And this was the longest point of the hair. It doesn't look like it's so much like that anymore. It looks like his hair has been adjusted so that the fringe is actually a little bit shorter and there's a graduation going into the back. And of course, because his hair kept growing, his hair is growing towards the back. So the shape ends up being quite different, and actually it kind of looks like His hair is actually closer to what it looked like at the beginning of this season, although the proportions are not as different, I don't think. Like from front to back. There's a couple of images here where you can kind of see the fringe, like falling over, and it's like definitely it would have been a lot longer beforehand. I find it interesting that he made that choice because the haircut is like relatively minor, but it's interesting that he made that choice. And the layers are actually quite noticeable. They're not kept like really long, they're actually, you can kind of see the jaggedness to his hair. And of course, throughout the show, throughout the months, his hair just keeps growing. Still kind of combing it off to the side a bit. He still maintains a little bit of that side part look. And still maintaining a sense of volume on the top of his hair. So after that, there was another Saved by the Bell movie, and this was a Wedding in Las Vegas movie. I think that's literally what it was called. So check out these photos here. This is basically his hair, I believe, grown out from the TV show, The College Years. I don't think he touched it at all, but we can see definitely growth. So his hair is longer now. His hair at the back is like close to collar length. Maybe if you pulled it as far as it can go, it might be shoulder length. It still has that shorter to longer look, but when he got it cut like that, it wasn't like this huge difference. His fringe was still kept pretty long. Okay, so this next picture, I wish I had better reference, but I don't. I can't find anything remotely anything close to HD, unfortunately, but in the spin-off show, The New Class, or Saved by the Bell, The New Class, he makes a return for one episode, and this is him in this episode, and I think, again, this is just his hair grown out from what we've seen before. His hair just looks longer. His hair is noticeably shoulder length at this time, and the front strands probably goes past his lip, or maybe even down to his chin. I can't say 100% sure if he had any kind of trims. Just looking at it, his hair, the proportions look closer than they would have been, but maybe I'm just tripping. It's very possible that he just grew his hair and that's it. Alright, so this is the last bit of reference. There was a reboot to this show. I think it was in 2020. So we see Zack Morris again. And in his appearances, it looks like they try to go back to the old style with the combed back hair, longer on the top. And it looks like there's some length to the ear, but the top is still the longest point. But yeah, they created it so that his hair is the longest on the top. There's a little bit of length on the side, but it is a little shorter, and there is length at the back too. But it all looks like it's blended in, so that the longest is at the top, and then there is a bit of a taper on the sides and the back. I would say this is closest to probably his season 2 look. It's pretty balanced, like there isn't this big sense of bulk on the top. I feel like if you pulled this down, you could probably get to close to eye length. The back does maintain shape quite a bit, and it's actually pretty long. I don't know if he ever let it get this long in season 2, probably not. But his hair, his hair kind of doesn't look real. I think maybe the makeup team put on extensions or something like that. I could be totally wrong about that, but for some reason, something looks fake about it. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I do enjoy doing photo research, and I think my brother and I agreed that we're going to continue doing this type of content on this channel, and it seems like there's a viewership for it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, thanks again for your support, and see you next time.